I was born beneath the stars of New York City, but even as a child, I didn't look at them like others did. They saw light. I saw power, endless, waiting to be unlocked. My father traded silk. My mother painted colors, but I wanted to paint with atoms. While other children played, I sat alone with books far too heavy for my hands. 85. I could name every element. 10. I was already lost in the invisible rocks, minerals, radiation, the quiet language of the universe. They called me strange. They weren't wrong. When I reached Harvard, I devoured everything: physics, poetry, Greek, Sanskrit. I wasn't chasing grades. I was chasing truth, the kind buried in particles smaller than dust, but that truth came with darkness. I was never balanced. There were nights I wanted to disappear into my own equations. Once, I nearly did something unforgivable. I tried to poison my professor. That's how far the pressure pushed me. That's how fragile genius can be. Then came Europe, Göttingen, under Max Born. There, I met minds that glowed brighter than the stars. Heisenberg, Bohr. We didn't just study the world, we tore it apart, atom by atom, to see what held it together. And when I understood, when I realized that within every atom was energy enough to burn a city, I knew humanity would one day open that door. I just didn't know I would be the one holding the key. Sound, war sirens, faint typewriters clicking. Then came Hitler. The world trembled again. News broke. The Germans had split the atom. The impossible had been done, and the Americans came to me. They called it the Manhattan Project. A secret city in the desert. I called it Los Alamos, my kingdom of sand and science. We built homes, labs, fences, secrets. 6,000 people, all building something they could not name. They thought it was for peace. I knew better. Every morning, I walked the dust roads with a pipe in my mouth and a verse in my heart, from the Bhagavad Gita, the only book that understood me. I quoted it often. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. They thought it was poetry. It was prophecy. We worked day and night. No computers, no AI, only minds, chalk, and sleeplessness. And always that question: what if we ignite the sky itself? What if the fire we build never goes out? Low rumble building, countdown ambience begins. July the 16th, 1945. The desert waited. We called it Trinity. I stood 10 miles away, staring at a tower holding a new sun. There was silence, then light. Light that burned through the skin, through the eyes, through the soul. A flash brighter than God himself. A roar that split the heavens. And in that moment, the universe blinked, and I whispered, now I am become death. They cheered. I didn't, because I saw what would come next: transition, soft ambient hum, faint crying. Weeks later, the bomb fell on Hiroshima, then Nagasaki. 80,000 lives vanished before a heartbeat. Children turned to shadows on walls, men became dust, and I, the man who gave birth to that fire, was called a hero. A hero, tell me, how do you accept applause from ghosts? When I met President Truman, I said, Mr. President, I feel I have blood on my hands. He called me a crybaby. He wiped his hands with a cloth as if to say, the blood's yours, not mine. That was the moment I realized I had created something my country could use, but never truly understand. They turned against me soon after, called me suspicious, communist, traitor. They dragged my name through mud, stripped me of clearance, my career, my dignity. I wasn't imprisoned. No, they gave me something worse. They left me alone, with my thoughts. At Princeton, I became a ghost in my own story. I would sit by the window, smoke my pipe, and watch the wind move the trees like waves of memory. My wife drank. My children drifted, and I thought, this is the cost of knowledge, not glory, isolation. I once told a friend, when something is technically sweet, you go ahead and do it. And we did. We built it. And then we spent our lives wishing we hadn't. Music softens, ocean waves fade in. In my final years, I found silence on a small island, St. John. The sea doesn't ask questions. It just listens. I would sit there for hours, watching the waves that looked so much like the mushroom cloud, rising, falling, disappearing. Then came cancer, the final atom turning against me. They said it was from smoking. But I think it was from the fire I carried too long inside. When the government finally tried to honor me again, I smiled politely, because how do you thank a nation that first crowned you and then erased you? Soft, haunting music As I lay dying, I thought of the Gita again, the good deeds a man has done before defend him. I hope that's true, because my deeds are mixed with ash and brilliance. I gave humanity a new power, and a new fear. If you remember my name, don't remember it for the bomb, remember it for the warning, that knowledge without conscience is fire without air, that even the brightest mind can cast the darkest shadow, and that when man learns to split the atom, he must first learn to control his own heart.